Well, that's just some of the coverage of the migrant crisis. The word migrant, some people claim, though, dehumanises the story of thousands of people who flee war and crisis. In fact, there are a few media outlets who have said they will no longer use the word migrant in relation to the Mediterranean arrivals, including Al Jazeera. To discuss this, let's speak to Gulwali Pasali, an Afghan British student at Manchester University. Gulwali fled war in Afghanistan when he was 12 years old. Here in the studio we have Judith Vonberg, a PhD student and freelance journalist who writes about migration as well. Welcome to you both. Gulwali, if I can start with you, how would you describe yourself in your particular journey?
Good afternoon. Thanks for having me. I think I would describe myself as a person, as a human, first of all, and then after that I'm a refugee. And I don't like the term migrants. Actually, I don't really have a problem with the term migrants as such, but because the way it's been portrayed, the way the media has been using it, it is not only dehumanizing, but it's demoralizing the whole debate around immigration and around refugees, because being a migrant somehow means victimized, somehow means criminalized, you know. Being a refugee is someone who flees war zones and conflicts and comes and seek refuge and seek asylum.
Well, actually, the Oxford English Dictionary defines a migrant as a person who moves from one place to another in order to find work or better living conditions. And that's precisely what you were doing, wasn't it?
Not really, because I left Afghanistan because of the war and conflict. But at the same time, even if someone is looking for a better future, that shouldn't be something illegal or something wrong. You know, that's okay because we're humans and we always move around. But the way the term is used recently, with this whole refugee crisis in the Mediterranean, in wars in Syria and Iraq and Afghanistan, is problematic. Otherwise, it shouldn't be a problem using the words migrants for normal people who move for work or for other purposes.
Judith, what do you think? I mean, is migrant loaded? Because when you look at its technical definition, it's not, is it?
It's not at all, no. And we need to try and get back to that. It has become loaded, especially in the last couple of months, and by its use in the press and by politicians and so on. But I don't think that's a reason to reject it entirely. We do need a word to describe people who are moving around, not all of whom are refugees, and to call all of the people refugees who are crossing the Mediterranean, like Al Jazeera wishes to do, it simplifies things. It's a refusal to recognise the complexity of the flows of people.
And I suppose the other issue is that there's a lot of press interest in these stories and used for political ends as well. But if people are economic migrants, then there is a justifiable reason perhaps not to give them residency in Europe.
Perhaps, yes, but that's a different discussion. We're talking about the rhetoric that we use to talk about these people and the attitudes that people will build up towards those people on the basis of that rhetoric. And at the moment, yes, the word migrant has become loaded, but it shouldn't be. We all move around to seek better living conditions and to find work, whether that's within a country or across borders. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. It's a normal human thing to do.
Gulwali, you are now obviously studying at university and having a successful life for you. How difficult has it been for you, though, in the years since you came to Britain? And do you sense any sort of loaded, prejudicial comments to describe you and the journey you made?
Of course, I think for me life has not been easy, but I had really supportive people and very great people around me who have supported me and helped me throughout my school and college and university life. And I have been very active in engaging with society, and I have been giving back to society, trying to contribute. But the issue with the terms are language matters. The way we describe this crisis, if you call it refugee, then Britain have an obligation under international law, under the UN Convention, to protect those people. By calling them migrants, then no one really have an obligation to protect those people, and there is the issue. So language influences policies, and politicians make policies, and media have a role to play. So for me, I feel like if the media use the right terms for the right people, yes, not everyone is a refugee, but not everyone is a migrant. People who are fleeing Afghanistan, Syria, and Iraq, and war-torn countries, they shouldn't be called migrants. They should be called refugees, because people do have an issue with migrants, but people would be more sympathetic towards refugees because they would understand they're leaving a conflict zone, and they.
But isn't the problem that you've got other people, say from Serbia or Albania and countries like this, where really they are trying to improve their standard of living, and all of you, for want of a better word, are sort of being bunched together on this?
Yeah, that's the thing, because I think there should be differentiation. For example, even in the UK, this debate around immigration, they put everyone, everyone is brushed with the same brush, and that's unfortunate. That is not fair. And people who are claiming asylum and who genuinely need protection, genuinely need, and also we shouldn't forget the fact that it's Britain, it's the West who caused those problems in Libya, in Afghanistan, Iraq, and because of their intervention, because of their invasions, we have issues because of their military action. Now Britain needs to stand up to its responsibility and should be a role model to the rest of the world to say this is how you should be treating refugees.
All right, we've just got time for one more. Judith, are we being, though, too politically correct? I mean, people are very angry about the British Prime Minister, David Cameron, for example, talking about a swarm of migrants. What is wrong with that? I mean, a swarm is a large gathering of creatures or people, isn't
Yes,
it?
but it suggests that they're all working together somehow in order to invade, which isn't the case at all. These are a large number of individuals, each of whom, with their families, has been forced for one reason or another, or many reasons, to leave their country and to come here.
On that very contentious note, we are out of time. Judith, Gulwali, thank you both. That's it from Global for today.